Hero shooters, a genre that has been dominant for almost 2 decades, with many classic games such as TF2, Overwatch, and now Marvel Rivals stealing the show. However, over the years, there has been a select handful of other hero shooters that haven't quite hit the mainstream. With that being said, it's time to discuss the best extinct hero shooter that was ever released. Hero shooters are a unique genre, as they're games defined by pickable characters in distinct roles. Overwatch, for example, the most classic hero shooter since TF2, has 3 main roles: tank, support, and DPS. Tanks, for example, make up the front line of your team comp. They take the most damage, and they do a good amount back, but they don't do as much as your DPS characters. Your main goal as a DPS is to kill things. That's damage per second. And then finally, your supports, the ones who typically sit in the back and heal both your DPS and your tanks. These 3 roles make the main curriculum for Overwatch. However, over the years, other games such as Team Fortress 2 hasn't followed the exact formula. TF2 does have these classes, just less defined. For example, the medic is a good healer. It's the only healer. And the heavy is the only quote-unquote tank in the game. But for the history of hero shooters, the main idea has been at least pickable characters who have unique abilities that you can use to win a battle. That brings me to the game in question, which is Primal Carnage and Primal Carnage Extinction. Now, this may not immediately jump out to you as a hero shooter, as it simply just looks like a team deathmatch of dinosaurs versus people, which, in all terms, is part of the game. However, the way that the people in this game and the dinosaurs are made in this game, they fit perfectly in the definition of a hero shooter. So let's take some time to dig up this classic dinosaur game. We have to go back all the way to 2012 to when Primal Carnage was originally released. The game was developed by Lukewarm Media and saw, lukewarm reception to its overall release. It stayed somewhat relevant until about 2015 when Primal Carnage Extinction was released, the game we will be talking about today. There is so much more history to the Primal Carnage series. Yes, series, as there is 5 games that have been announced for the Primal Carnage license. For more information on the general history of this game, I recommend checking out The Last Mikester, someone who I used for this video to research the overall history of the game. I had actually played Primal Carnage and Primal Carnage Extinction back when I was a young lad, as some would say, and overall I loved the game, so it was interesting to boot it up once again in 2025. You may be asking, okay, I see a dinosaur game on my screen, but you may be wondering, how exactly is this a hero shooter? To properly talk about that, we have to start with the humans, the boring role in this game. Primal Carnage Extinction has 5 playable human classes, with editable guns and editable secondaries. You have the Assault, which is your generic assault rifle with a noob tube attached. He excels in high damage and one-shotting the smaller dinosaurs in the game. You then have the Sniper, who is the class that revolves around, you guessed it, a sniper rifle, and is very good at picking the little dinosaurs off with extreme damage. The Sniper also has a motion sensor trap, which allows you to potentially know if a dinosaur is sneaking up on you. You then have the Pathfinder class, my personal favorite human class in this game. This is your shotgun class. He's good at close range, high damage. He's got flares to hide himself from the biggest threats in the game, and he's got little tomahawks he throws. That leads us to the Trapper, the ideal class to deal with the small creatures in this game. The Trapper has 2 pistols that you can fire with left and right click that do medium damage to long to medium range. But his bread and butter is his net launcher, which will allow you to one-shot any small dinosaur caught in it with a melee attack. That finally leaves me to my least favorite class, which is the Pyro. This is your flamethrower. It's a flamethrower mixed with a chainsaw in one weapon. Pretty cool, pretty dog shit. Each of these characters have a special ability, if it be the sensors from the Sniper class, to be an ammo pickup from the Assault class. Every single hero in this game has a special ability along with a left and right click ability. This is extremely simple, there's no ultimates in this game, but it does fall under the definition of a hero shooter. But you may say, So, okay, we have humans with guns. I don't care about that. Let's get to the real shit people care about. The dinosaurs, the best part of this game by far. There are 5 main classes of dinosaurs in Primal Carnage Extinction. You have your raptors, your spitters, your flyers, your middle-sized dinosaurs, and then finally you have your big boys. In each available class, there is 2 to 3 dinosaurs you can pick from. Starting with the raptor class, Novaraptor, its main ability is right-click, which allows it to pounce onto a player character and kill them if not interrupted. Its special ability is its roar. Every dinosaur has a roar. This is the equivalent to the throwables that the humans have. Novaraptor's roar allows it to have an increased attack speed, making it go super fast. The Oviraptor works functionally the same, however has a little bit of stat difference, and its roar allows you to find enemies through walls, and it also highlights different resources across the map. Moving on to the Spitter class, first starting with the ever-famous Dilophosaurus, has a spitting attack that does damage over time if you hit your enemies, and its roar ability gives it a stamina siphoning attack. I guess I will quickly mention, there is a stamina system in this game, which allows you to sprint for every creature and every person in the game. Moving on to the Cryolophosaurus, same as the Novaraptor and Oviraptor situation, functions similarly to Dilophosaurus, however, his roar allows him to gain stamina regeneration, and his secondary attack, this Venom Spit, is now an acid spray. Then my least favorite class of dinosaur, the Flyers. These are boring as hell. I hate them and I can't play them well at all. Starting with Pteranodon, it has a basic peck attack, but its right click allows you to pick up enemies, and if you fly high enough, you can kill them with a single drop with fall damage. On top of that, Pteranodon's roar also reveals enemies through walls, just like Oviraptor. Tupac's Jara works the same way as Pteranodon, except that instead of changing its roar ability, the difference is that Tupac's Jara's right click allows it to do a dive bomb instead of a pickup. Then you move on to the medium-sized dinosaurs, which there is now 3 of. Starting with Carnotaurus. Carnotaurus' main gimmick is its charge, which is its shift ability instead of a right click. Essentially, this allows you to batter your way through as many enemies as you want, and it does about half their HP through a ram. Its roar ability allows it to heal from said charge and bite attacks. The Ceratosaurus is the next medium-sized carnivore. It, however, does not function like Carnotaurus. It does have a charge ability, it doesn't do nearly as much damage. Instead, Ceratosaurus' right click is a tail whip, which allows it to get down and dirty with people in close quarters. Its roar ability is Stamina Thief, allowing you to steal stamina from the people you're hitting. Finally, Pachycephalosaurus, being the last medium-sized dinosaur, works functionally the same as Carnotaurus. However, it is smaller, has less HP, but it is more maneuverable. Pachycephalosaurus' roar ability is an enhancement to all of its stamina abilities. It runs faster, jumps higher, and it uses less stamina. Finally, the most exciting and the best part of the game, the big boys. There's 3 big motherfucking dinosaurs that you can play in this game. The T-Rex, the titular T-Rex, has 2 abilities, its main bite and its tail whip, along with its roar ability that boosts the attack of all dinosaurs around. The Spinosaurus uses its large claws and its also big bite attack, along with its roar that it increases the armor of all allies around it. Finally, the Acrocanthosaurus is the lighter of the 3 tyrant builds and has a similar bite attack, a big old stomp attack, and then its roar gives health regeneration to all of its allies around it. This overall brings me to the first major discussion point, which is the gameplay of this game. This game has a very dynamic gameplay to it. You can either play the humans, which are boring as shit, or you can play as the dinosaurs, which are actually really cool. The dinosaurs are very varied in what you can play. They all feel different. Even in the subclasses, they feel a little bit different, but there's so many different options in this game that it's really fun to play as the dinosaurs. Which means it's such a shame that the humans are fairly generic at best and boring at worst. The Sniper class and the Pathfinder class are somewhat fun, at least for me personally, but when you're playing a game where you can play as a fucking dinosaur, why would you ever decide to play as the people? However, I will say while playing this game for this video here, holy shit, there are some sweaty people that still play this game. I mean, there's only like 100 people that play this game in general anymore, and oh my god, I haven't felt worse in a video game ever. The gameplay is fairly basic. You're essentially team deathmatch or pushing a point or pushing multiple points and then get to the chopper game mode, which is my personal favorite, but nobody seems to play anymore, unfortunately. The general idea is you're supposed to balance the different human classes to fight the different dinosaur classes. You're supposed to have a good balance of the trapper, the sniper, the pathfinder. You're supposed to have big damage for the big dinosaurs, and you're supposed to have utility to fight the little dinosaurs that are harder to shoot at. The general gameplay of this for the humans is to bunch together under cover, because when we get to the dinosaurs here in a second, you'll see the tyrants run this game. And tyrant class dinosaurs, if you play them right, you could literally not die if you don't want to. They have so much HP and they do so much damage that they are nigh indestructible if played right. However, you circumvent this as the humans by hiding behind cover. This stops the larger dinosaurs from getting to most of the team. This is where the medium and small carnivores come into play masterfully. So as I mentioned, the big dinosaur's role is that it's basically the siege. If you're opening an open point and a T-Rex walks into the middle of your team, it's over. You're killing like 6 people if you're the T-Rex. And to circumvent this, like I said, you have to hide, get high ground, find little bunkers to hide in. And then this is where your little dinosaurs come in. The idea behind the Oviraptor, the Spitter class, and all the flying dinosaurs is essentially that you are supposed to pick off individuals. These creatures excel, especially the Raptor class, excel at targeting a single person off the map and eliminating them from the team. Their weakness comes into play when there is a group of people. Like I said, outside you use your big siege dinosaurs like Spinosaurus, T-Rex, and Acrocanthosaurus. But when they're inside, you have a bit of a problem. This is where your medium-sized carnivores really come into play. They're super good at breaking up teams, especially Carnotaurus, who literally just runs through the team. If you get like 2 Carnotauruses and they hit the whole team, the entire team dies. This does make for a fairly engaging gameplay loop that I had fun playing. Finding a place to hold out as humans until you're eventually wiped out by the dinosaurs is super fun. And then as the dinosaurs finding the right angles to attack these people that are grouped up, it's fun, if not slightly repetitive. What really holds this game back, like I said, the boring human characters don't help. But unlike games like Overwatch, there's no ranked mode, and there's a very limited pool of maps and a very limited pool of game modes. This puts a stress on the already existing game modes and maps, which are actually not that bad. But when you have so limited options, you're gonna get bored over time. And I was about comfortably done playing this game after an hour and a half or so. Now, a general positive. The design of the game, audio, visual, everything like that. The visual design in this game is really good for how old this is. This is a 13-year-old game almost, and you can tell when you look at it. However, for a game this old, it looks really good. The human designs are a massive L. They do not look great in this game. But the dinosaurs, just like I have said over and over and over again, the dinosaurs look really good. Shit, the Primal Carnage T-Rex is actually somewhat famous at this point. It's using a lot of Blender SFMs, and in general, it's a well-recognizable T-Rex. Even the roar, for example, is a well-recognized T-Rex roar, which brings me immediately into the audio of this game. It's good. The guns sound chunky, a little video gamey, but they sound chunky, they sound satisfying to shoot. That sounds good. That is a good sounding rifle. And the dinosaurs sound excellent. All the roars sound as good as you would want them to. The thundering footsteps of a T-Rex walking into your team from the distance is really ominous and puts a great mood of what you're playing. Dude, that's actually intimidating. What the fuck? And the environment designs, they're not the worst. They're okay. Docks, for example, I think that's a great map. There's a whole cargo ship you can play on. There's the shipping yard, and then you have like an actual like little town that you can play in. super varied, and it's probably the best map in the game. Overall, the design of this game isn't horrible, but one thing that's really good is the skins in this game. Back when I played this game, skins worked like CSGO, and just like CSGO, there's a market for this game. I was actually astonished to see that there's some skins that are actually worth some money still for a game that has 100 players. That blew my mind. But in general, the skins look really good. I saw some really fire skins, especially for the dinosaurs, and I saw some skins that made the humans look less shitty. They're great. It's pretty much CSGO, but for dinosaur games, and I think that's a huge plus in this game, honestly. The game is so old, and there's so many fashion choices that you can really customize what you want, and they added this new evolution system that lets you change physically how the dinosaurs look, like their models. Excellent idea. Super good change to this game. It wasn't in the game when I played, but it makes the skins even more varied, and it's really interesting and probably the most underlooked section of this game. Primal Carnage Extinction is a game. It is a decent dinosaur game. There's not a lot of very good dinosaur games, and this is one of the best PvP-centric dinosaur games, for sure. Unfortunately, the game is held back both by its age, by its bugs, which I didn't even mention. I ran into a massive bug during this game. I freaking up. Bro! Are you for real right now? Is it because I made a 4K? Fuck. I hope this doesn't actually lock me out of this game. And some of the gameplay decisions, like how boring the human characters are, that's my biggest criticism, is playing the dinosaurs. This game is great. This is a solid 8.5 out of 10 game. That's probably aggressive. 7 out of 10 game when you're playing as dinosaurs. When you're playing as people, it drops down to like a 6 out of 10. I said it's classified as a hero shooter, but I think for a hero shooter, it's the only option you have for dinosaurs. But it is a mediocre hero shooter at best. And like I said, a lot of this is due to its age, and it had a limited team and a limited budget. It's an interesting game. When it's on sale, if you can get it for like $2, I think this is a worthwhile game to pick up. There's a small but very dedicated player base that plays this game regularly. I was shocked with a game that has 100 players in it, how I was able to get into a game and play with like 30 to 40 other players. This is a big game. It's like 16v16 at the smallest for the general deathmatch. It unfortunately ends up being a bit of a mess compared to games like Marvel Rivals and Overwatch and TF2. It just doesn't hold the right weight in the right departments for a competitive, long-lasting hero shooter. However, I want to end this off with a positive note. Apparently, a sequel is planned, and it was announced for 2025, which is this year. I think they have a real chance here to get something special. The game is very fun when you're just dicking around for a little bit of time, but they need to really iron out some of the better parts of this game. I don't know if you do Dinosaur vs. Dinosaurs, which was actually a game mode in this game that is completely dead, or you add more human classes or more variety in the human classes. I think you have a great basis here for an excellent hero shooter and an excellent dinosaur game. But unfortunately, it's being held back. Overall, I would give this game a 6 out of 10 for a hero shooter. I'd give it a plus 1 point for a 7 out of 10 for a dinosaur game since it's a limited market. But I would say get it on sale if you really like dinosaurs. If not, I would avoid this very much extinct hero shooter.